Good afternoon. It's time to get started. Let's see. We are back with Kerbal Space Program. I am DanBearPig82, and once again, we're going to pick up exactly where we left off last week. So let's take down the starting soon screen, and let's jump right back into our saved game. Here we go. And yeah, we did some rescues last week. We also did some research last week, and we unlocked the technology that we've been looking forward to for months now, which is the one that allows us to drill for ores on different celestial bodies and refine them into fuel. So the main goal today is to make good on that and design and launch a fuel refinery. And I think we're going to put it on Minmus. Minmus being the body with the lowest gravity that is in Kerbin's orbit, will be a fantastic place to park, refuel, and send missions to deep space with all the Delta V. So let's see. We do still have one outstanding rescue contract that we need to do, and it's for Kaylee. She redeemed Uranus Kerman. So they are in orbit of Minmus. So we might do that on the way or on the way home from landing something on Minmus for fuel. That is a quite definite possibility today. So yeah, there's Minmus there. We could do something on the moon, but landing and taking off from the moon costs a whole lot more fuel and Delta V than it does on Minmus. So we're going to do our fuel refinery on Minmus. And also, we might, in the very near future, go capture an asteroid or comet and bring it into orbit of Kerbin and make that a fuel depot. That would be pretty cool. We could put that in low Kerbin orbit, and that would be even better than having something around Minmus. So yeah. Meanwhile, we do have some other things that we need to attend to. First of which is I need some water. My voice is not as ready as I thought it was. I've been using it plenty talking to my kids, who have been quite the handful today, but there we go. All right, so yes, we have some things coming up though. Alarm clock, we've got our Jool probe, which will reach its periapsis in 3 days. And after that, we have a launch window to Moho and a launch window to Eve. So we have satellites around both of those. We have a scanner satellite around Moho, so we might also send a drilling machine to Moho. That might be good. That way, maybe we can send stuff to Moho, land it, and bring it back. Bring back some surface samples or something. That would be pretty cool. That's just a possibility, though. Eve, we have a contract for landing and returning from Eve. We're not quite ready to do that yet, though. But we might try at least a landing without the intention of returning. So that's quite possible. We've got another correction burn. This one, I forget what planet it's headed to, but oh, Dres. It says it right there where my mouse is pointing. Yeah, it's headed to Dres. So yeah, we got a whole bunch of events coming up in the next 100 days. So that's pretty good. Let's start here. Let's go visit our Jool probe. Let's switch to that craft. And let's see. I think this is a periapsis around Jool itself. I think we are actually in Jool's sphere of influence, if I recall properly. We sent this up a little while back. We have a tiny signal. Looks like it's being transmitted to Jool Probe 1 to the ScanSat Supreme, headed to Jool, and then to Kerbin. So yeah, a signal strength of 2%. But it's enough. We can transmit science. Excellent. And we have full probe control. That's the most important thing. We have a lander on this thing and an orbiter. And I don't think this is an accurate representation of our Delta V because we have engines pointing in different directions, and that tends to confuse the game when it's doing those calculations. But what is our situation? Yeah, so we are in space high above Jool. Nice. What science can we do from here? First things first. And have we already done it? Experiments available right now. Temperature scan, atmospheric pressure, and mystery goo. we've already done those, and we've gotten as much as we can get from transmitting those home. So nothing about that we can do at the moment. But let's see, our periapsis is coming up in 3 days and 4 hours. And what I really want to know is, can we get into orbit around Jool? And as a bonus, can we get to one of the smaller moons of Jool and maybe land? Probably not, but who knows? Okay, so let's see. Let's add a maneuver at our periapsis, and let's see how much delta V it will take to just get a capture orbit, just to be in orbit around Jool. That's looking very promising, actually. Look at that. Yes, with under 200 meters per second, which we definitely have at least 693 meters per second, we can totally get into orbit around Jool. So let's warp to our periapsis and get our first close look at this gas giant, the only one in the Kerbal system. Okay. Where is... There it is. Look at that. There's Jool right there. So let's just gently ramp up the time warp. In fact, let's point retrograde. There we go. As soon as that settles in. Okay, cool. We will maintain retrograde while we time warp closer to Jool's surface. We're currently 230 megameters above the surface of Jool. There's Kerbal right there. And there's Eve, there's the sun. There's Moho. There's Duna. Look at that. Okay, that is cool. Let's... Okay, Duna right there. Let's position the camera here. Let's get a screenshot of that, because that is very cool. We can see 5 planets from here. Possibly more. That's not one. Okay. Wait. There we go. Okay, those are moons. See that right there and that right there? I don't know how well that's going to come across on the stream because they're very small, but I think those 3 right there are different moons of Jool. In fact, we can see right here what they are. They're probably Lathe, Tylo, and Paul. If we look this way, I don't know if we can see, what was it, Bop? Riven, how are you doing? It's been a while, and remind me again, because I always have to ask, did I pronounce that right? How are you doing? Let's see. Yeah, we're just enjoying the sights as we descend towards the gas giant Jool. We can see multiple of Jool's moons from here. And if we look this way, we can see our home, Kerbal, we can see Eve, and we can see Duna. Very cool view. You're enjoying exploring the start of KSP. Oh, did you get it for free on the Epic Store with the sale that they're doing this week? Nice. It's a steep learning curve. It very much like Minecraft, just kind of throws you right in there. We are just over 1 month. We're in high time warp now, and we can see these moons moving. That's so cool. We are just over 1 month from the early access release of Kerbal Space Program 2, and I am excited. All right, we are 175 megameters above the surface now. We still have our 2% signal strength, so that's good. And yeah, we're very inclined. We have a 68-degree inclination. So if we just barely get into a capture orbit... Yeah, there's another moon right there. Okay, that one just went into shadow and disappeared. Oh, there it is again. That's Lathe, I think. Oh, look at this. Sorry, I'm interrupting myself. Let's see. That is awesome. Look at that view. I don't remember what we were saying. Yeah, that's what it was. If we just barely get into a capture orbit, then we will have a very high apoapsis, which means we'll be going very slowly at that point, and we'll be able to change our inclination much more easily that way. Probably won't get it, says a ribbon, until I get a huge grip on KSP itself. That's one approach. However, you might find that the intent that they have is not to make the game easier per se, but to make it more accessible, have a more contextual help in pointing you in the right direction, because it can be pretty daunting to just jump right in and learn orbital mechanics without knowing anything. But on the other hand, that's also very fun. So there are a couple ways there. But again, it is early access that they're releasing, so you'll have plenty of time before a full release, I'm sure. Haven't hit a stable orbit yet? I know that feeling. Well, I don't know that I've ever played a game that is more rewarding than Kerbal Space Program, because getting your first orbit, hugely satisfying. Docking in space, incredibly satisfying. Landing on the moon, that's just really good. So yeah, it's a difficult game, but it is possibly the most satisfying game I've ever played. And yeah, I'm just taking it slow here and enjoying this view. I think that is Lathe. It looks like it's got clouds. And yeah, Lathe is the closest moon. Okay. So yeah, we can see right there, we can see Lathe, Val, and Tylo. So off that way, we should be able to see Pole, and the other way we should see Bop. So let's see if we can spot those. Is that Pole right there? I think maybe. It's in the right direction, and we're close enough that... actually, that might be it. No, that's just a big star. I think that there is Pole. And Bop is... that way, probably that dot right there that I don't think you can probably see on the stream. Supreme Doom, how are you doing? Yeah, don't be a dolphin. Go follow Supreme Doom on Twitch. How was your stream today, Supreme Doom? I saw you were streaming, and I was a handful of kids and couldn't watch it. I'm sorry. I miss hanging out in your streams. They're always such great fun. Doing great? How are you? I'm doing great as well. My kids are having their next growth spurt already, and are quite the handful, but they're also quite fun. We took them to an art exhibit at that is in a spot at a local mall now. It's an interesting exhibit, but one of the things, it's an interactive one, and one of the things was a ball pit, which I haven't been in one of those in couple decades at least, and they never have, and they really enjoyed it. Silly little butts. Yep. You laugh so much in your stream. Okay, good. That's how you know it's a good stream. Okay, with the time warp, can we spot any of those dots moving and confirm that they are moons? I think, yeah, that right there, maybe. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna take another screenshot because I'm having a great time with this view. Riven says, yeah, the one thing I'm struggling with is keeping the rocket stable when it goes through its separation stage. Oh yes, especially if you separate pretty low in the atmosphere, then yeah, your booster stage will be empty, and so your center of mass will be very far forward and your center of drag very far backwards, and then as soon as you separate, the entire stability of the craft changes. You introduced your rock song that you wrote when you were 7. It was, oh, I'm sad I missed that. I hope there's a clip, or that I can find it in the VOD, because I want to see that. You better highlight that if it's longer than a minute. Because I need to hear your rock song. And there's a clip? Okay, good. I'm going to look for it in your Discord. All right, we are 4 hours away from our periapsis and increasing in speed rapidly. Original clipped it. Okay, perfect. I think you mean Londoner. Okay. All right, still signal strength of 2%. That's good, as long as we don't lose that. She also clipped how I saved the song because my friend was not so good with lyrics. That's great. All right, we're coming very close. Oh, look at those shadows. Okay, that is awesome. Those are shadows of moons. That is epic. That is truly epic. Oh, very cool. Let's see, Springham says, and then I found out ship and ate all of your maple fudge. Oh, no. It was amazing. I laughed, I cried, and burned myself with a glue gun twice. Oh, no. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I apparently left Shipwreck's doors open on his house on our Vault Hunters server. But then also, he dug up all the pretty clay pools for his farm, which he was just trying to be helpful, so I feel bad saying, hey, you dug up the clay pools, but, you know. And Ribbon says, what mods are you running, if any? I'm running several. We started this as an essentially vanilla stock install, but slowly have been adding mods and have gotten a little bit away from the stock experience, but it's still essentially a stock game in gameplay. So let's actually, while we're doing this, we have time. I'm gonna pull up CCAN mod loader. It's probably gonna tell me there's an update available, but I am not going to download it, and I will show you the CCAN. Okay, filters. Oh, 14 of my mods are upgradable. Last time I checked a week ago, none of them were. All right, we're just gonna go to installed, and we're gonna go through this real quick here. Ba-doop-doom, ba-doop-doom. I do have CCAN as a scene, right? Yeah, I don't. KSP, the planner. Okay, well I'll add it then. Let's see, window capture. Boom, boom. Nope, CCAN is not an option. So let's see, CCAN. Comprehensive Kerbal Archive Network, I think is what they're calling that. There it is. Okay, perfect. All right, let's show you just what we've got here. So let's make it a legible size for you. There we go. So yes, aside from the obvious of graphics mods, because we've got a pretty nice looking install here, I've got this one here, which is a very nice quality of life mod, X Science Continued. That basically gives me a little window that helps me keep my science organized and easily see, okay, what science can I do right now, which is very nice. Camera tools, that's a fun camera mod. It's the closest thing this has to the replay mod. It doesn't replay, but it does give you some very nice cinematic cameras. Let's see, this is a visual mod, distant object enhancement. This is how we're able to see those dots of distant planets in the sky and mouse over them and see their names. So let's see, environmental and visual enhancements, another visual mod. This one is very nice. Flag rotate. You plant a flag, it's not pointing the way you want it to, you can just rotate it. Very easy. Hullcam VDS, this one gives you camera parts that you can attach to the hull and make cool cinematic shots of your launches and such. Kerbal Engineer Redux, that is this HUD up here at the top of the screen. Very, very good to have. Yeah, I've got quite a few. The other one that really changes the gameplay the most is ScanSat. So this gives me a whole bunch of different parts that I can attach to a satellite and make maps of planets. So let's go ahead and hide this, and I can tell you more. Oh yeah, here's our alarm. This is not a mod. This is vanilla. Okay, Jool probe periapsis. That's because we're 1 hour away from our periapsis. Let's delete and close. That's fine. And if you want, I can DM you on Discord or something my Modlist and some advice. So yeah. Let's see. Supreme Doom says Dan's influenced quite a few people to play. It's true. And guess what? Said Supreme Doom. Uh-oh. What is it, Supreme Doom? Ship's sleeping. I should go open the doors on his house. Well, it is afternoon, his bedtime, so. But check this out, Riven. Here's the ScanSat menu right here. And I can open up this map. And this is Minmus here. I don't have a biome map of Minmus. Let's actually go to Moho. So I have a satellite in orbit of Moho, and it has been mapping biomes. It can't do it while I'm in high time warp, but there's that. And if I do this, there is a resource overlay. So this is relevant today because let's go back to Minmus. Oh yes, thank you, Supreme Doom, for being on top of that. Riven Gaming UK does mostly some modded Minecraft. It makes some really cool builds. I see the builds on Twitter. I've rarely gotten to watch on Twitch scheduling, but good time for sure, and great builds. But yeah. So, but yeah, these are the resources on Minmus, and we can go also to altimetry. Do I have an altimetry map? I do not. Okay. There it is. There's the official Twitch shout out. We figured out how to do that on mobile now. Why does mobile not honor the @ in that command? It's so annoying. Thanks, Twitch. Thank you, Supreme Doom. But yeah, so we're going to find somewhere here that has a decent amount of ore, and we're going to land a refinery and make a fuel depot today. That is the main plan. But yeah, this map here, super handy. Thanks to Sally Salt. Very cool. Thank you, Sally. All right, so let's time warp. Let's get down close. We're 30 minutes away from periapsis. 15 minutes away. And then we're going to burn retrograde until we just barely have a capture orbit, because we want a very high apoapsis where we're going very slow so that we can change our inclination as cheaply as possible. Conquest, that's the name of the mod. Thank you. You're gonna start streaming KSP? Ooh. I will keep an eye out for that for sure. Let's see. Look at this. All right. Here we are. We're 2.5 minutes away from periapsis. That is definitely close enough. And we're pointing retrograde. So here is our trajectory currently, which will escape Jool's sphere of influence in 58 days. Jool has a very large sphere of influence. But let's change that so that we don't leave the sphere of influence. Just a gentle burn retrograde. Look at Dan avoiding my comment. Oh, wait. Which one? Hold on. Supreme says, so wait, you didn't have time to be in my stream, but you had time to talk to Ship about my stream. Sus. Talk to him about your stream? Did I? Wait. Double sus. Talk to him about your stream. Oh, no, he messaged me about that. Yes. That's what it was. It was about the shout out. Yeah. He told me on Discord. Yes, he told me about the mobile shout out on Discord. Remember all the times where he was calling me out for not setting up the permissions properly? I can't do the shout out because you haven't set it up. And I'm like, but it is set up. That mole. Yeah, I know, right? And then he took a nap. That was a lot. That was a lot of effort. So now he's napping. Okay. We're very gently burning here. And we're about to get our capture orbit. He really is a mole. I know, right? He's been the most amazing mod the last 2 days. Oh, I need some examples. You're talking about in your stream, right? Also, Pizza, according to Shipwreck, Pizza has changed their profile picture, so they might start seeing the notifications when we shout them out. Okay, there it is. Look at that. Okay, oh, that is 366 days away. That's, I mean, it'll be very cheap to do our inclination change there, but I don't want to wait 366 days to do it. So watch this. It's going to change very rapidly. Let's bring that down to something reasonable. Something within 100 days, I think. And then we'll catch up on the chat here. Yeah. Yeah. Because we can get something here in the time that it's going to take. Not even just 1 year orbit, Riven. It's that would be 1 year for half of the orbit, so it's a 2-year orbit. In fact, the orbital period is shown up here with the Kerbal Engineer mod. It's now down to a 75-day orbital period, which is quite nice. Let's bring it down to apoapsis in 30 days. The farther we bring it down, the more expensive it is. Exponentially so. There we go. That's good. And let's make an alarm. Let's see, create alarm, and we want it for, I know this is behind there. Maybe I should move that. I don't know. I like how centered it is, though. We want it for, is that apoapsis? Let's do, there we go. That gets that out of the way. Apoapsis. There we go. And this is, yeah, the Jool Advanced Research Probe. Let's call it Jool Probe Apoapsis. And yeah, we'll do 1 hour of advanced notice here and add the alarm. So yes, in 29 days, we'll come back and we will change the inclination of this probe. All right, let's see. Oh, he added redeems and sound alerts to your stream. Nice. Insane and creepy from his perspective. And Streamroom says, but wait, what if he decides to find out where these shadows are coming from and stop by stream? Pizza delivery. Exactly. That's exactly it. All right, so we have a Moho launch window coming up in 13 days. So let's do an immediate launch after we design it of a fuel refinery to Minmus. And then in 2 weeks, because we have a self-imposed rule that we wait at least 2 weeks between launches to simulate the amount of time it would take to refurbish the pad, build the next rocket, etc. And also to make sure we keep the clock running because we have a lot of long-term missions in progress. That will give us time before that launch window comes up. So yeah, let's go into the vehicle assembly building and let's build something brand new from scratch. Okay. Oh, and we've got a rendering glitch. This happens sometimes where this row of parts in the VAB just only half renders. I don't know why. Bug has been in the game for a very long time. All right, hold on. I've got a sneeze coming on. I'm going to hit the cough button, or sneeze button in this case. Okay, that sneeze is a troll, but at least I didn't sniffle in you guys' ear. Okay. All right, so let's start, of course, with the probe core. We'll use our most advanced one, the Probodobodyne Octo 2. It doesn't have reaction wheels in it, but it has the most options for stability assist. So yeah, we have stability assist, prograde, retrograde hold, radial and normal attitude hold as well. So yeah, that's pretty much everything except target and maneuver hold. So very good probe core here. And then we're going to need lots of power. These things are incredibly hungry for power. So let's go ahead and first off, let's see how big the parts are we're going to be working with. Under utility, I think? Yes. So we've got the Convertotron 125 and 250. As you'd expect, this one is twice as big as this one. So what can these do? Come on, pin. There we go. Yeah, these generate a lot of heat, so we're also going to need radiators to shed that heat, otherwise they will overheat and shut down until they cool. Let's see, but we can convert ore at 2.5 per second and at the cost of 30 electric charge per second into a very small amount of liquid fuel and oxidizer in the proper proportions. Or we can convert things just to liquid fuel or just to oxidizer, or even to monopropellant. So we can make any of the fuels that we need except for xenon, which we haven't unlocked yet. And I don't know if we can, at that point, convert to xenon or not. I don't think so. But yeah. And lots of cooling required. And that's the little one. What about the big one? Okay, the big one is more efficient as well. So for the same amount of... Ooh. Way more efficient. Holy crap. Okay, so look at this. Same amount of electricity, 2.5 ore per second to make 0.22 liquid fuel per second. This one, though, 0.5 fuel per second makes twice as much of these resources for the same amount of electricity. So yeah, we're just going to go straight for the big guy. And it is indeed a big guy. Look at that. And look how cool it looks. But that's not all we need. We also need... That just refines the stuff. And we can land these things separately, of course, the drilling and the refinery, as long as we are able to connect them. But why? So here are the drills, but before we put those on, let's put the ore tanks on, because we do need somewhere to put all that ore. And we have a small holding tank and we have a radial holding tank. There are bigger tanks that we can unlock later, but for now, small holding tank looks like this, radial holding tank looks like this, and of course it's very much smaller. But that can hold 75 ore, that can hold 300 ore. But once we refine them into fuel, we need to store the fuel. We can't store the fuel back in the ore tank, so that makes us even more complicated. So, yeah. We don't necessarily need to hold a lot of ore as long as we're able to process it quickly enough into fuel. So let's take these off for the moment. And let's put some fuel tanks on. Let's make some big ones. Yeah, that's the same diameter, so that's perfect. But let's get one that big. And let's put that on top of the refinery. Like this. Okay, so we have a start there. And what are the battery sizes that we have? Because we definitely want lots of electric charge. The Z1K is our biggest battery, and it looks like that. Alright, so I think what we're going to want is a service bay, and let's put that at the top. So this is going to be a tall guy, and we're going to want to land it on somewhere very flat and stable, very level. Let's see, payload, and these are 2.5 meter parts, I think, so let's see, service bay, yep. Excellent. Okay, and let's open this up. And that gives us lots of room in here. So if we do that, and yes, we are going to pack this thing full of batteries. Just like this. In fact, let's do that. Alright, those are built into that part. Very minimal clipping there. Okay, so this can now carry 6,000 units of electric charge. So that's pretty good. We also need some serious power generation and cooling. And we'll probably want to also, depending on how well this performs, assuming it performs, land some more fuel tanks nearby. So, in fact, ooh, what about this? Let's go back to the fuel tanks. Now, let's not do that. Okay. Before we do anything else, let's put the apparatus that we need on the bottom. So let's do the small holding tank right there, because it's the biggest one we've got. I'm thinking, which is not the most exciting thing for you guys, but it is also very important. So thinking, we definitely need this to be able to land and be stable. So we might do some robotic parts for wide landing gear, a wide landing base. So let's see what we've got here. First, let's go to utilities. Let's make sure we have room for the drills. So yeah, these also require electric charge. So there's the Drill-O-Matic Junior, which for 0.3 electric charge per second, it's 100% use on comet, or efficient on comets, 30% on planets. Okay, so this is it. The resource harvester, not the comet drill. So 0.9 electric charge per second gives us 0.3 ore per second. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Asteroid drill, comet drill, or resource harvester. We're going for resource harvester here. But we can also do this one here, which requires 7.5 electric charge per second and gets us 1.5 ore per second. Of course, we're going for the big one, obviously. But what if... Okay. Let's do that. Let's put those drills on just like so. And if we deploy them, it looks like this. Let's see. Start service harvester. Nah, I was hoping it would give us the animation, but it is not doing that, so that's okay. Meanwhile, we are going to need a nice wide landing base. So let's go to our robotic parts here, and let's get a nice big hinge. How big is this? Nice and big. Perfect. And let's put them here. Let's just do one for now, and then we'll do the symmetry. And then we need to add to this some structural parts. So let's go here and let's get the modular girder segment. And I don't like that. All right, so because of the way this game works with attaching parts and symmetry, let's do this here and then we'll move it. So there's that. Let's use our rotation tool and push it out that way, and then let's shift it. Actually, let's put it on the bottom right here like this. Okay, and I think that far will be good. And we're also going to want a grippy pad on the end. So let's see, what have we got? We've got the 004, the 036, and the 156. I think this is the size. Yeah, this is the size that we want. Though, we also have we have a round variant of that. If we do this, let's decide what angle we want this at. We want this at 110 degrees should be pretty good. Maybe 115. That should be good. All right, and that makes that level. And then if we put one of these grippy pads on the bottom, and that's too small, so we do want this one. Okay. Can I get it to be perfectly centered? Can I do it? Maybe? All right, round variant. And yeah, of course it's offset. This is one of those things that I'm really hoping is better in Kerbal Space Program 2. I say that often, I know. Okay. Come on, there we go. Okay, turn the snapping back on and pick this up, and we want four-way symmetry right here. Okay. That looks pretty stable. Let's extend this drill. We're going to want... Okay, we do need to adjust something here. So let's change the angle for the hinge. Let's go back down to 110 degrees. About just 100 degrees. That's more clearance than I was expecting, actually. So that means we also need to do this. Like so. Okay, that should be pretty dang good. So if we do the angle limit, 110 as the maximum and 0 as the minimum, then that clips a little bit more than I'm comfortable with. However, that looks fantastic. All right. Oh, target angle 100, not 110. There we go, just like that. Okay, yeah, that's going to be more stable and give lots of clearance, but still let the drill penetrate the ground. So that's going to be pretty cool, I think. We're going to assign that to an action group a little bit later here. But first, let's put it in retracted mode. Let's see, retract this drill. So now we can see where we need to put things like solar panels and radiators. So let's first put on our radiators. We haven't really done much of these before, but now it's going to be very important. Okay, so we've got large and small radiator panels. Those are going to be insufficient. We have small, medium, and large thermal control systems. So if we put this on here and extend, okay, that is going to be too much. Let's see how big the medium one is. Okay, a couple of those I think will be perfect. So if we do this, put that right there, and another one right there. So basically, these will cycle through fluids and radiate the heat this way, because there's no air. The only way to shed heat is by radiating it. Okay, so let's retract and retract. And now we need solar panels. So back to electrical, and let's get some nice big ones. Those are the circular ones. Let's do these. We'll put them right there. And how much will these generate per second? 8.3 per second. So, all right. Surface radiation over direct cooling, says Riven. Yeah, exactly. We can't blow air with fans to cool this down, so all we can do is a closed cycle liquid pump and shed that heat over as much surface area as possible. That's how they have to do it on the space station too. So let's see. All right, I gotta pull out my calculator here. Maybe I should put a calculator on screen. That would be fun. Next time maybe. So let's see. If we have 8.3 times 4, that's 33.2 electric charge per second. However, let's see, how much are we going to be using? We're going to be using 7.5 per second. Okay, so basically these are enough to power the drills. This will be using 30 per second. So yeah. Wow. We're gonna need more solar panels. A lot more. Okay, can I place them like this without issue? Yeah, but that still doesn't give me any room there, so yeah, this is going to be a challenge and a half. Okay, so then, and these will rotate on these servos here, so they will get sun exposure. But if we have 4 more like this, that gives us 8 of those. So let's see. And that should be enough, I think. So we have 66.4 potential. This is only in direct sunlight, so at night, of course, they won't be generating anything, and during early morning and late evening, they will be generating very little. But that will generate enough to do this. Okay, so 66.4 minus 30 and minus 7.5 times 4. Oh, wait, hold on. Minus 30 and minus 7.5. Okay, that gives us 6.4 electric charge per second overhead. So that's pretty good, and that will charge those batteries, but I think I want even more batteries. This thing is also pretty heavy. We're at 37 tons already. Let's put a bunch of these guys on the outside of this battery. These batteries. There we go. And we're not done yet. Let's retract the solar panels. Let's close that. We also need to think of communications and control on descent. And also we need to think of a way to set this down safely on the surface of Minmus. So I'm thinking a sky crane. We haven't done a sky crane yet, so that will be pretty cool, I think. Let's see, we need communications. We can do a high gain antenna. Does this work as a relay? I don't think so. Short range relay. Okay, that's good. And we don't need 8 of those. We just want a couple of them. And we might want more structural parts to place those on. So let's do this. Let's place that on top of our probe core. Let's also do, in command and control, let's do an advanced inline stabilizer. So reaction wheels. And let's build those into this. Like that. Just enough clipping to make sense and not enough to be cheaty. So we have basically built this equipment into this structural part. Riven says, I'm thinking, how the heck you'll even get that into orbit, let alone to another planet? Well, I have some big launchers. You'll see them very soon, I think. So, orbit, I'm not particularly worried about, especially since we have 6 million spaceos. So we're good on the budget right now. But yeah, landing is going to be a little bit trickier because we haven't done a sky crane in this playthrough, and it's been a while for me since I've done a sky crane. But we're basically going to need an attachment point on the top and a lander on top of that. So that'll be fun. Okay, but it's looking cool. That's for sure. But yeah, it's a heavy guy. Alright, so I'm thinking now. We want to put our communications, where did I set that? There it is. Up here. And let's do 2 of these. Let's rotate them like this. And shift them like that. Okay, and then when they're extended, it'll look like that. Do I really want it to be like that? No, I don't think I do. So we're going to put them on the outside like this, and then shift them. You know what? No. Sorry to keep changing my mind, but we're going to go simpler. We're not going to have deployable ones. We have communications around Minmus. We need to improve them, but we do have them. So let's instead do these that are always deployed. And let's do several of them. So we rotate like that. And we put them back here. I mean, that's overkill. But you know my saying, there's no kill like overkill. But I think basically I don't want the game to think that they're blocking these solar panels even when they're not, because it's hard to predict when the game will say that and when it won't. If we do this... Wait, no. I want that. And that. There we go. So now we have 2 on each side, and they're not in the way of these doors. Beautiful, although they're not properly centered. There we go. Let's get a little OCD about this. Okay, and also we want some lights, so let's deploy those. Let's go to our utilities and let's pick up the spotlight. And let's put them here. Why won't they cooperate? All right, let's put them on the ore tank itself, and then we will shift them outward. Let's lift this up so we can look underneath. There we go. Okay, so rotational tool, let's make them face down just a little bit. and then the translation tool. And we're installing them right there. Perfect. And that should give us some good illumination around the drill site. Okay, this is a cool looking ship. I hope it performs as well as good as it looks. All right, so let's see. I'm terrible at names. What should we name this thing? We can start with something boring. Let's see. The mosquito. Mosquito 1. Because it's our first iteration, and it's going to be, you know, extending its proboscis. Ooh, Supreme Doom is thinking. She's brainstorming ideas. I'll be listening. Mosquito is not bad. Yeah, it's basically a mosquito, right? But even scarier because it's got 4 proboscis. It's about the size of mosquitoes here, says Supreme Doom. Yep. Okay, retract. We need to work on our action groups. So let's see, actions. First off, we want our landing gear to toggle these hinges. And we also want a special action group for locking them. So let's go here to number 10 and let's do toggle locked. Because we will want to lock these in place, otherwise they'll be all wobbly. And that reminds me, we need to do some auto strat too. A 40-ton mosquito, yes. Yes, Riven. It's terrifying. Mm-hmm. You do not want this thing to bite you. Definitely not. I'm sure mosquitoes here have 4 proboscis. And yes, I know how I'm pronouncing that. It's on purpose. Oh, I love it. Okay. Let's see. We want also our solar panels. Toggle those with action group number 1 and action group number 2. We'll toggle our radiators. Okay, I like that quite a bit. It should be very stable. It's got electric power. It can send a signal. It can store ore and refine it into fuel. Let's... Ooh, this is a good point. Should be empty. So now it's only a... Okay, think about this. Empty, it's a just under 22-ton mosquito, but once it has fed upon its prey, 40 tons. They're deadly, can pick up a small child, says Supreme Doom. Yes, I believe it. But no, we do not want this thing to be to be full on launch. Empty. All right, close that. Okay, I'm just admiring the work here. This is one of the best looking things I've ever built. I love the bare machinery look. Okay, so what else are we missing? We need to build the lander part. So let's go back to build mode, where, you know, it's not showing us any of the icons now. There we go, reloaded them. All right. Oh, good, and it's rendering these completely now too. Wow, game, wow. So let's go to coupling, and let's do the Clampotron docking port, and let's put one of those right here on the top. And let's disable crossfeed. We do not want fuel crossfeed here. Supreme Doom with the puns. You love the bear machinery look. Duh, you're a bear. Yeah, this thing's just got the bare necessities, you know? Grr, grr, grr. That means the sword of the Ball Hunters. You like my new skin, my grizzly bear skin? Let's see, and then let's copy this part. And let's put on a fuel tank. Like so. Let's put on some more smaller fuel tanks. There's a smaller one, isn't there? Or is that the small one? That's huge. No, no thanks. Okay, yes. I believe that's the diameter I'm looking for. Oh, those are the same diameter. Okay, fair enough. Oh, they're going to have such better tools for sorting the parts in Kerbal Space Program 2, and I'm really looking forward to procedural parts on everything. Okay, let's just do this. Though, ooh, I wonder if we could just have the pork land it. No, because then we'd be irradiating it with all those nuclear engines. Teddy bear, yes, if you're doing but with claws. Yeah, no, let's not do that. What about this? Oh, that's actually really cool. It's huge, but it's really cool. Did you say pork? What's with the name references? Yes, the pork. So the pork is our personnel craft, the Personnel Orbital Rescue Craft, P-O-R-K, pork. Okay, what if this is, excuse me, our sky crane right here, and we put some small engines on the bottom, some small and efficient engines. What have we got? Will the Wolfhound fit here nicely? It will, actually. Let's see, let's rotate this thing. And these. Oh, hold on. Did he, oh, yeah, no, I did miss that. Okay, so let's see. Springdom says, I like it, but your growl was epic. You sounded like the cowardly lion trying to be tough. Rude. So rude. Oh boy. Okay, this thing has a lot of delta V too, so that is good news. Much more than we actually need. So let's hold this for the moment, but also see if maybe this will be enough without being overkill. But we'll need the outboard engines for that. 431 meters per second delta V. Nope, that's certainly not enough. So while this is, yes, overkill, I think it's just the right amount of kill. Pick it up. There we go. You knew I'd like that? Well, yeah, it's like you know me. It's like we've been hanging out for a while. All right. Okay, and the thrust rate ratio is pretty good on Kerbal and is super good on the Minmus. All right. Sorry, Supreme Doom, you're making me laugh. Quit it. We are going to need some solar panels on here because there is no way I'm going to be extending these solar panels while this thing is still on top and spewing hot gas. So, just these here, let's put them right there, like that. And this thing here, we will stage it. So let's enable staging. So what we can do is we can gently touch down, stage, and then this thing will detach and go off on its own direction. Streamroom says, almost at it again. That rude sounded like a growl. Try rude. Rude. Ridiculous. There you go, says Supreme Doom. Thanks. Thank you for believing in me. All right, and so yeah, that has some serious delta V. Okay, so let's start these retracted. There we go. Let's not forget our auto struts. So this auto strut to root part, grandparent part. Root part for this one. And this here, auto strut to grandparent part. The hinge as well, auto strut to grandparent part. These, auto strut to grandparent part. And this as well. Also, let's auto strut this to grandparent part. Okay, that should provide plenty of stability. It says, put a seat on it and use it to launch a pilot. We've done something similar. Twiglet has been redeeming some Kerbal rescues, and one of them was Kefri Bezos. And we blamed Kefri Bezos for the demise of another viewer rescued Kerbal. And sentenced him to community service, cleaning up low Kerbal orbit. So he is flying on an external seat on a garbage truck in space. So that's a thing. Okay. All right. I'm nervous to launch this thing, but let's put it on a launch vehicle now. So, let's do coupling. We want a small decoupler on the bottom right here like this. And structural, we want, that's too small. How about this guy? Yeah, there we go. There's our launch mount. Screen Room says, I can teach anyone anything. You're welcome, lol. Oh boy. All right. So yeah, this is a very top-heavy, very wide guy. Oh, maybe we launch it upside down. We'll see. Let's see how well our launch vehicle fits. So let's bring out the Callisto 2 reusable heavy launch vehicle. Here, nope, that's ComSat 2. We want Callisto 2. There we go. Right here like this. And we do not need that decoupler. Let's just disable it. Not worry about removing it, because that's a bigger hassle than it sounds like. And yeah, let's see, where's the fairing? Here it is. Edit fairing. I said edit fairing, there we go. Let's put it here. It's not quite wide enough. And the chances of us being able to recover our launcher from this launch are, I'm going to say, a little bit slim. But it is okay, it is worthwhile. Okay, and we do want to stage that, actually. which is part of the problem. The next big deal that we need is bigger fairings. Let's see. Fairing staged. Okay, there we go. That's a big payload. And let's check our staging. So we have our 9 engines on the bottom. There we go. We need our fairing to be staged. And I think also we're going to want to maybe transfer this to Minmus using a different craft. So let's put, just in case, so that we have this option, we're probably going to use it. Let's put a docking port on the very top. Like that. There we go. All right, this has 5 kilometers per second of delta V. Let's see, our launch delta V is 1.86. That's perfect, literally perfect. All right, let's save and let's launch it. And let's see if we can recover the booster as well. All right, yeah, just double checking. There we go. Save and launch. 9 main engines and 12 boosters. Well, these are big guys. These are the vectors. So yeah, we have 9 meganewtons of thrust at launch. And it's going to do a little bounce because it does as the physics engine is loaded. And because Shipwreck is sleeping, nobody has been taking care of the Dan Bear Pig. I can't believe it. Look, my beer is still closed. So disappointed in you guys. So here we go. Let's pre-booze this thing. My diluted rocket fuel. Diluted hop-infused rocket fuel. Look at that. That payload. That is fat. All right, here we go. This is what it takes to launch a mosquito to space. All right, let's arm the... okay, so, Riven, here's another mod that I've been playing around with. The Flight Manager for Recoverable Stages. We have to be careful with it, because I've had to delete my contracts before, so we're going to make a very quick save. I don't like to abuse quick saves, but we're going to do this. And let me remind myself what I'm naming these. There we go. Yeah, pre-FMRS. And it does that. Don't know why. Yes. And can I get out of this mode without losing everything? Why does it do this? It didn't used to do this. Interesting. Okay. So, revert flight to launch. Because, yeah, that started on our last stream, and I don't know why it's doing that, but yeah. It's 2 feet off the deck and goes straight back down. Yeah, classic Soviet N1 problem there. 3 billion engines on it, and see if we can even clear the tower. There, bloop, bloop, bloop. There we go. Let's just bounce to space. Okay. All right, we should be fine. Oh, right, and we got a world first milestone for entering orbit of Jool. Nice. Okay, arm. All right. The N1, I think, did clear the tower once, but it never did more than simply get off the ground before it was canceled. All right, we have our throttle up and stability assist is on. Let's get a cool launch angle for this. I'm going to show off more of my mods. Camera tools, target self. Let's set our position. Let's watch from right over here, I think. Set position with click. There we go. Turn off the auto flyby. We don't want that. We just want to watch from the ground. All right, here we go. Y. Target self. There we go. It cleared the target. There we go. Supreme says, mods? What? I'm here. Good. All right, here we go. We're going to do a gentle gravity turn because of all the drag that we're going to get off of this fairing. But here we are go for launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Whoop. Did you see that? We have 2 sets of landing gear on this thing. All right, we are pitching downrange. Retract. There we go. In fact, let's lock the those landing gear. It looks even sillier from here. Vehicle is supersonic. Superior says, oh, in-game mods. Okay, whew. I was kind of daydreaming. Fired. All right, everything is looking normal. Gonna get it to an apoapsis of 150 kilometers, and then it's on its own from there using the sky crane. All right, cut the engines, and here we go. We're probably gonna get a little bit of a boom. All right, we're fine. I forgot to do clamshell deploy, but that's actually perfect. I love it. All right, and oh, these need to be in different stages. And is that... Okay, good. And separate. Cool, and that works. Okay, so we have this, and it has 2.7 kilometers per second of delta V, and should be able to get to our space station pretty easily. Debris, says Supreme Doom. Boss, Debris. Wow, wow, wow. All right, let's use the flight manager for a couple recoverable stages to switch back to, it calls it Mosquito 1 probe. That's the launcher. That's our booster. Supreme Doom says, I think I might be a little bit overtired. If you don't get the reference, I just need to just stop. The reference is... It's on the tip of my tongue. That's a Mel Brooks movie, right? All right, MechJeb, we're going to use landing guidance computer. And let's pick a spot on the map. Let's land right here. And land at target. Here we go. So the blue mark there is the landing projection, and this is landing target. And so it's going to automatically, I'm hands off now. Oh, and we need to do that to unlock this reserve fuel tank here. It was a series. You should definitely tell me the reference, Supreme Doom. I'm not going to get it. Just telling you. Riven says, it's when it hits the station you worry. Yep. Yes, indeed. All right, and I'm hands off right now. This is MechJeb doing this. There's a reason that SpaceX, Blue Origin use computers to land their rockets. It's possible for a human to do it, but it is not exactly advisable. All right, so now what we can do is deploy our fins, our grid fins, Fantasy Island. Okay, I don't know if I've actually seen this one, but I know the deplane one. I thought it was a different joke. And it sure is using that monopropellant. Let's try to save some of that, because I can't tell it not to use it at this point. Not anymore. Okay. And I can't do time warp either. So we are at the full mercy of our flight computer here. And now we just enjoy the view. I bet you have a different reference that is more sophisticated than mine. I don't. It sounded like it was from a Mel Brooks movie. Like Young Frankenstein or something. But I couldn't quite place it. Okay, so yeah, now we are going to take this trajectory here. So we are on our way back down, and by the time we reach here, this spot will have moved to here. Mel Brooks did say something similar in reference to Fantasy Island. Interesting. All right, this is also saying that we're going to need about 850 meters per second of delta V to do this landing, and we have twice that available, so that is looking pretty good. Although the last time we tried a landing, it had a little bit too much lateral velocity and fell over sideways, so we didn't recover the whole thing, but we recovered some. All right, we're coming down. And I really should put a hull-mounted camera on this thing. Do I have one? Let's see. What are our camera? Nope, we don't have any other camera views available. But yeah, we could get the SpaceX view like this. Spring Room says, gotta lurk while I get supper finished up. Ship started it. I gotta finish it because he's asleep. Roast beef in the slow cooker. Yum. Ooh, that does sound good. All right, we're about 10 kilometers above the edge of the atmosphere. Going 1 kilometer per second. And we are entering the atmosphere. And yes, I know that there's this check mark here, but unchecking it, it's still using the RCS, so it doesn't do me any good, unfortunately. But here we go. Drag is building up. We've reached terminal velocity. We're now slowing down. Engines have been started. And we're starting our landing burn any second now. Landing burn. Okay. Beautiful landing by MechJeb. Look at that. Taking a screenshot. Awesome. Okay, with the Space Center in the background, look at this. This is so cool. There, this is. Roast rhino, anyone? Says Ruben. I know, right? It looks like we're in the savannah. Okay, so now what we can do is jump back to the main mission, and it should automatically recover this and tell us how much we got back. Should be nearly all of it. And we landed with a kilometer per second delta V remaining. That was our smoothest landing yet by a great deal. Okay, but now this, we are 2 minutes away from apoapsis. And we have some decent thrust since we have 4 of these big engines here. Let's set our target to Arcadia Station and point prograde. Okay, we have a notice recovery of the launcher. We got 200,000 Spaceos back. Very nice. I love that mod. And our contracts are intact. Intact. Okay, good. It's very easy to restore those from a backup, but still, I like to be extra cautious. All right, here we go. All right, 30 seconds away from apoapsis. And we're actually going a lot slower than I would like. Hopefully we have some oxidizer to refuel this thing with. I didn't even think about that. Okay, but things are going pretty well here. We can close the landing computer. It's probably getting a little toasty right there. All right, let's come back down to our target orbit of our target altitude of 150 kilometers. And then let's burn further and circularize an orbit. Okay, we have an orbit. It's not a particularly great orbit, but we have one. Okay, there is Arcadia Station over there, opposite side of the planet, of course. So, if we... Okay, we're still dropping, so let's go ahead and bring our apoapsis down. So let's warp to our periapsis, and we'll burn retrograde. Just like that. And let's pin that. Let's go to our intersection here. And what we need to do is let the station catch up to us. It would be more efficient to catch up to the station, but since we're in a very low orbit, that's not very safe. So we're going to come here, point prograde. And close up this approach. All right, not bad. Ooh, very nice. We're going to come within 74 meters. That's pretty close. Like Ruben said, you got to worry when you intersect, when you crash into the station. That's when you worry. All right, so let's see. That's in 56 minutes. Let's warp 47 minutes ahead and start approaching the station. I know that we have liquid fuel available on the station. I'm not sure how much oxidizer we have, since we've switched most of our ships to purely liquid fuel rockets with our atomic rocket motors. Okay, pointing retrograde and descending on our station. All right, we are 30 kilometers away and 1.5 minutes away. All right, here we go. Look at the target. Let's go to target mode and point retrograde. And let's slow down. All right, and that has also widened our approach, but that is okay. All right, the persistent rotation mod always snaps us to orbit reference. Very annoying, but worthwhile. All right. And so now, if I'm pointing this way, I will be pushing the retrograde marker away from where I'm pointing, so I'm pushing it towards the anti-target marker. And that is reducing our separation at closest approach as we reduce our speed. All right, we're close enough that we can start to see some detail on the station. "200 meters. Riven says, I need to fine-tune my controls. It's either full on or off. Fine-tune controls are tough on Kerbal Space Program. I kind of want to get a joystick set up for launches. That would be fun. I've never played this game with a joystick, especially if I finally build some planes in this playthrough. It'd be really fun to fly them with a joystick. Okay. All right. Just loaded up the station into the physics engine. Here we go. Let's not time warp right into the thing. Okay. All right, let's just come to a complete stop. Here's a trick you can do, Riven, also, for even finer control, very unrealistically fine control. Turn the thrust limiter way down to like 5% on all of these guys. And don't forget to turn it back up later. But there we go. Now I've got very, very fine control. There we go. And let's turn the thrust limiter back up. Sure I got all of them? I did. Okay, good. Okay, so let's switch to the station and let's see what we've got. We do have some oxidizer. Okay, good. It's probably aboard this guy? No. Where is our oxidizer? Let's see. Oh, interesting. Okay. We've ended up putting some oxidizer into these tanks. So the trick here is docking. We've got no maneuvering thrusters on this thing. So let's control the station from here. Let's remember that the space station is also a spaceship. Let's see, ships. It's probably a probe. Mosquito 1, yes. And let's point this thing towards that target. Like so. All right, and we're going to dock the station to the ship, not the other way around. And I'm going to use this this mod from the Hullcam mod. We can activate our docking port camera. Which is a much more realistic way to dock than the stock game gives us. Whoa, there we go. Yeah, these thrusters are not properly balanced with all the ships stocked here, so we've got quite a lot of torque. Screenium says, "Shit told me either I could mash potatoes and mash the carrots into the potatoes. Earlier that you could mash the potatoes and mash the carrots into the potatoes. I can't. He bought many potatoes. I can't waste those. We must eat them whole next time." Smash carrots into the potatoes. What is this? What is this monstrosity he is suggesting? Okay, so let's point directly at this thing's center of mass, and then let's align the docking ports so I can keep this camera view but switch control to the other craft like this. And point the other way. Screamer says, "I've never been so disappointed and excited at the same time." Hold on, the sneeze is coming this time. Hooray, I've been holding on to that sneeze for almost an hour. Okay. And this thing is only using reaction wheels to do this attitude adjustment. Because, as I said, no maneuvering thrusters, just the main engines and their gimbaling, which is not great. You can't do translation control that way. Okay, so now switch back to station control. And line up. And head in for our docking. Let's not use the thrusters just to rotate, because that's throwing off our trajectory, and vice versa. And this is where target hold for stability assist would come in very handy. We'll have that soon. I think one of our pilots can do that now, actually. But I would be able to tell, for example, this craft to just hold attitude pointing right at the target and not have to worry about anything else. Okay, I'm controlling our mining craft again. There we go. And now back to station control. Yeah, we're managing to do yet another different way to to accomplish our docking. How do we keep doing that? Oh yeah, we're gonna need to refuel the station too soon. So how much fuel can this hold? I can't see that from here. All right, let's time warp a little bit. All right, and slow down. Oh, my cat wants to come into this room and get a snack. Sorry, buddy. All right, I'm controlling the mining craft again to make sure that we are lined up. And oh boy, that's not great. There we go. Slow down. All right, controlling this craft again. Control from here. There we go. That's the problem. All right. Are we gonna get it? Come on, come on. There we go. We are docked. Turn off that there. Okay, perfect. Whew. All right, I was sweating. Supreme Demon says, oh, cat almost opened the door. Jeez. Supreme Demon says, well, that was delicious, and all I had to do was take the meat out and slice it. You did the hard work. But I did have my heart set on mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are S-tier food, I gotta say. Okay, look at this cool machinery docked to the station. So now what we need to do is pull up the Fuel Balancer mod, another very handy quality of life mod. And let's first do liquid fuel, and this is called the Kerbal Engine Cluster Adapter Tank. Here it is. Let's pump in. And at the same time, let's pump oxidizer in. There we go. They're what food? S tier. And there's Supreme Doom with the first and the Boozinate. We're only an hour and 45 minutes into the stream, and first has been redeemed. Thank you, Supreme Doom. I will drink to this successful docking and your delicious mashed potatoes-less food. Raven brings up a good point. Could have just crushed the mini potatoes, add a bit of butter or olive oil and some salt and pepper, and all good. And no, Supreme Doom. You can always buy more potatoes. Oh man, we do not have a lot of fuel and oxidizer here. Okay, so this will need a refueling mission, but that is okay. We're fine. All right, let's stop pumping in. Stop pumping in. And no, S as in supreme. Not F as in fupreme. What's a fupreme? Fupreme Doom. What is a fupreme? Don't even know. Cream and delicious for you. Need to keep them whole. All right, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, but this is empty now. We'll need to discard it. This no longer has oxidizer in it. Also, these here, let's lock them. We do not want them holding anything. That is an oversight. These are structural only. But because the game does not offer us a structural part that is that shape, I have to use a fuel tank and empty it. We launched them empty, but then we ended up fueling them up. Supreme Doom says, I still don't know if you like mashed potatoes or not. Supreme Doom, S tier, as in S as in supreme, S as in the letter before T, and after R, is the top tier. They're a top shelf food. Mashed potatoes are the best. But this confusion is cracking me up. This is very funny. I like it. Um, all right, so what we need to do is go back to the Space Center. And we need to launch to refuel the station, but we also will need to launch to Moho. And I don't think we've landed anything on Moho before. We crashed on Moho, but we haven't landed. Now I've got the hiccups, dang it, from drinking the booze and laughing so much. Springdoom says, they did it again. I can't hear your explanation, but I did hear it. They are supreme, so you like them. Got it, lol. OMG, that was an ordeal. All right, so what we're going to do is time warp right to our Moho launch window, and this is, I think, a day ahead of the ideal launch time, so we are good to go. Let's warp to next. Epilepsy warning. There we go. Okay. And do we have anything that is currently on its way to Moho? Delete and close. ScanSat 4 going to Elu. ScanSat 5 arriving at Jool. Another probe arriving at Jool. Yeah, we have 2 more probes already on their way to Jool. Check in with our Duna probe, an arrival at Dres. Another arrival at Dres. ScanSat 3 Dres correction burn. Okay, we don't have anything currently on its way to Moho. At least not according to that. So let's get one of our existing since our comms are better now and we should be able to maintain control when we get close to Moho this time. Let's launch one of our existing probes. See if we need to make any adjustments to it, and let's make another Moho launch, see if we can land on Moho this time. So we've got our Moho Research Expedition 2. Let's rename it to Moho Research Expedition 3. Yeah, this thing has 19 kilometers per second of delta V. So the MRE3. Save. Let's delete number 2 now. Keep this nice and clean, and here we go. Let's launch this beast. This is a much more reasonable looking rocket here, I gotta say. All right, here we go. And do we have a Hullcam? Let's put a Hullcam on this thing before we forget that. So here we go, Aerocam. Let's put it right here. And let's show off this thing. All right, save and launch. And let's see, since we are going inward in orbit towards the sun, we want to launch at about noon so we can do a direct descent. That is the plan, at least. All right, it's loading. There's the launch pad right there. Let's disarm this. We're not going to be recovering any of these parts, so we can close that window. Camera tools, let's pick our launch viewing area. Let's watch from real close. Let's watch from on the runway. Set position, target self, and close. Let's there we go. And let's this time let's do our flight recorder and watch the graphs. All right, we want to monitor our altitude, our acceleration, and our dynamic pressure. Supreme Doom says, I'm not even joking, they were silent. The minute you would start explaining it to me, they would start talking loudly to each other. The last time you started explaining is silence. I thought, okay, good. Then they started again. Sigh. All right, hold on, Supreme Doom. All right, turn up the volume. Okay, hope you're not on headphones. Just turn up the volume on your phone and point it in their direction. All right, here we go. Hey, everyone, I need some quiet, okay? There's important rocket launching going on, and you guys are distracting everybody, all right? It's very rude. Be nice to Madame Doom. All right, there. I've told them off. Ha! All right. Stability assist on, throttle up. All right, fine control on, and here we go. We are go for launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of the Arcus 2 medium launch vehicle carrying a new attempt, our third attempt at a lander on Moho. Vehicle is pitching downrange, and everything is looking nominal. And I think we forgot to wait for noon, but it doesn't matter. We're fine. Vehicle is supersonic. And we have maximum aerodynamic pressure. Thank you. They didn't understand the... Okay, Supreme Doom, please tell me that you really did that and that they heard that. That would be amazing. They must be ship's kids. Yeah, they must be. That's amazing. All right. Next, we're coming up on solid motor burnout. And they did, and they just looked at me. Beautiful. All right, SRB burnout and separation. All right, let's look down the Hullcam. There we go. Nice. All right, let's pitch down. We've got a very high apoapsis, but that is okay. Coming up on main engine cutoff. We have MECO, stage separation, and second engine start. All right, we're going to shut this down. And we're going to, first off, deploy the fairings, and let's coast to apoapsis. Then you explained the joke, okay. And one of them just looked at me and says, okay. Not even okay, just, okay. That's amazing. Let me guess, a teenager. Oh, I like it. All right. We can actually close this. Welcome to the world of kids. I know, right? I'm gonna have two of them at that age at the same time. I'm gonna be teaching two of them to drive at the same time. Dang it. That's not terrifying at all. All right, we're coming up on our apoapsis. We're nice and high, so we've got lots of time. We've got lots and lots of delta V. This whole thing is gonna be coming with us, I think. Or girls, for that matter, yes. Oh, we have a teenage girl in the house, and it's pretty much like that. All right, second engine start number 2, and we're going to get our orbit. And yeah, these are just holding liquid fuel for our atomic rocket motor, which does not require any oxidizer. Highly efficient, very low thrust. And let's see, Springman says, actually, the girl would be okay. I probably did that terribly, but whatever. Well, our teenage girl, my stepdaughter, when she's doing that, she's like, okay. And I'll drive her to school and I'll say all sorts of ridiculous things and usually just get, okay. All right, we can speed up the game just a bit here. Actually, we can go all the way to 4 times physics warp because of my nice hefty CPU. All right, and now let's go back into regular time, and we have an orbit. And it is close enough to circular. She's so used to, yep, exactly that. I have to work extra hard to get her attention. And actually, we did manage to launch at just the right time. Okay, so here's the trick. We're orbiting this way. To escape Kerbin, we need to increase our speed relative to Kerbin's surface, relative to Kerbin, so that means burning that way. But then we need to decrease our speed relative to the sun, and we're orbiting this way relative to the sun, so that also means burning that way, because this is our target. So right here, this is where we need to be. So all right, let's just start the engine and full speed. Satan, hello there, how are you doing? And we've got a hydrate from Satan. Thank you, Satan. Supreme Newman says, my one daughter would make me repeat my silliness and pretend she doesn't understand because I think she likes to hear herself talk. Rather than just laugh, she goes on and on about, what? No, not really. What are you talking about? And she goes on and on. Nice. Well, the way I know that everything is still okay with this particular teenage girl is that every time I drive her to school, we pass a burger joint that does Korean American fusion burgers. It is freaking delicious. I love the place. It's called Bumblebee Grill, and she started it, and then we wrote together a song about a bumblebee. We sing it every time we pass it. It's got 4 verses and references to classical music. It's a true masterpiece, and I need to write some actual sheet music to it and record it and make a Minecraft music video. That's my plan. Oh, the boost cam is still up. Gotta catch that before my mods do, or they'll tell me it's a derp. Okay, we do have a significant inclination that we'll need to correct, but this here is pretty good, and it looks like the moon keeps trying to interfere, but we're gonna be all right. Oh, and we've run out of fuel in this transfer stage, so here's more space junk for Kefri Bezos to clean up. Have fun, Kefri. And there we go. And Springdoom says, oh my, how long does it take to drive past this place? Well, we start when we drive past it, and then we finish it as we're pulling into her school's parking lot. So it's just a couple minutes long. It's like 2.5, maybe 3 minutes, and it's very scalable. I've gotten very good at fine-tuning the tempos so that we get there just in time, and then doing a dramatic, ridiculous cadenza for the last note. And I conduct it, and then I cut off, and I cue a stinger from her, because, you know, it's about a bumblebee. The song's gotta have a stinger. All right, let's speed this up. Again, high efficiency, but very low thrust. So burns tend to take a very long time. And Satan redeemed a booze Nate just as it comes off cooldown. Thank you, Satan. Satan, please tell me that I can make actual, like, booze in Vault Hunters. I'd love to be a drunk berserker. So I know in Sevtech Ages you can make coffee. And that's like potions. So I'm totally my when I bring that back and I'm working on it, my end game condition is basically to drink a cup of coffee on Mars. Oh, Satan says, I thought you were talking about getting a burger and finishing it before you got to the school. Nope. 3 minutes for a burger, not too bad. Nope. Talking about singing a song that we wrote ourselves about a bumblebee that gets in all sorts of trouble with the law. It's a completely ridiculous song, and I love it. All right. getting there. Depending on where this decides to intersect, we might not need to do an inclination change. If it does it right at the descending node, then that is fine. Let's see where we can better read these. Oh, okay, now it is changing upwards. Okay, so there we go. That is the most we're going to do with that. But let's see, if we make a maneuver here at the ascending node, which we will reach in 70 days, and then it's ascending node, so we need to burn anti-normal. AN ascending node, AN anti-normal is how I remember that. Let's pin that so that we can see this. Okay, and that is dropping our closest approach as well, which is exactly what we want to see. Okay. All right, so basically, we're going to be burning 1 kilometer per second when we reach the ascending node. So let's just make an alarm. And I'll catch up on Supreme Doom's comment in just a moment here. Create alarm, and we want boom. Okay, so it won't give us ascending or descending node as an option. So we'll just do cancel. Let's create the maneuver node right here. And then create alarm at maneuver. Moho probe 3 course correction, and we want about an hour of advance notice. Precision on that is not particularly important, and add the alarm, and that's coming up in 70 days. So let's see. All right, so Sabrina Newman said, the time song reminds me of when we moved to another town, but the school year was almost over, so my mom drove us to school every morning. She'd start Paradise by the dashboard light, because we like meatloaf, at the precise time needed, so it ended as we pulled into school. That's pretty cool. Shipwreck says first, but nope, Supreme Doom was first. She redeemed it. Well, how are you doing, Shipwreck? Good morning. Hope you had a good night. Sleep. A good nap. Supreme says, oh, Dan, I have a first redeem in my stream now. Thank you, Ship. Nice. Yeah, Supreme Doom was telling me that you were souping up her Supreme stream. True first right here, says Supreme Doom. Accurate. Accurate. All right, so in 70 days, we will be checking back in with this thing. Next alarm is our Jool probe apoapsis, and that happens to be exactly how long we need to time warp before we can do our next launch. So let's just that's the probe we started with, where we got into orbit of Jool for the first time. So let's switch to that ship. See what I did there? Yeah, souping up my stream. Yep, souping up your Supreme stream. I like it. Okay, and we have a 1% signal strength now. Ooh, okay. We have a very weak signal. But here is our signal path. So let's see if we go probes and relays. Yes. Okay, so here's how we're communicating. Jool probe 1, which I think missed Jool. ScanSat Supreme 5, which is headed to Jool right now. Or, I hope so. Kind of looks like it's missed. No, here it is. This is its orbit. Yeah, it's on its way up to Jool. And then that is contacting Kerbal directly from there. So yeah, those are the bounces of this signal. Okay, but when we get to this apoapsis, we need to change our inclination. And we're going to be going very slowly when we get there. So let's go ahead and warp to our next alarm. Yep, our orbital speed is now less than 150 meters per second. And it's about as low as it's going to be. All right, we're gonna come out of time warp here. And delete and close. Very good. Okay, so let's see if we can look at the orbital plane. We want to match one of these planets, or one of these moons rather. So let's see, let's focus our camera on Jool. Maybe I have to zoom out for that? No. There we go. All right, nope, it's not gonna let me do that. All right, let's do it this way then. Manually. There we go. Camera's focused on Jool. Okay, so let's choose one of these guys. Let's look at the planet Wiki, actually. Let's choose the one with the lowest gravity. So, planet Wiki, Jool. Let's see, Lathe has 0.8 Gs. Let's see, Val has 0.235. Tylo has 0.8. Bop has 0.06. Okay. Also, very high rate of rotation. That one's going to be hard to land on. But let's land on Pol, which has 0.038 Gs and is very tiny. All right, we're gonna try to land this thing on Pol. I don't know if we're gonna make it, but at least we're here in orbit and we can do some science. That's no moon, says Riven. Okay, Pol. Set as target. There's the ascending node, and oh boy, have we got an inclination. Alright, so, but if we start here, add a maneuver, go anti-normal, we can do a lot from just here with very low delta V requirements. Ooh, can we even get like an encounter and a gravity assist? That would be fancy. What was that? Okay, that is a gravity assist from Lathe. And it really helps too. So, you know what? Let's do it. If nothing else, we get a flyby of Lathe. So if we do this, this is a 1 minute and 5 second burn with this engine. It takes 200 meters per second of delta V. This says we have 445 left. I'm not convinced of that. Let's double check what this is looking like. Oh, there's the shipwreck totem. Yeah, we're burning that fuel, but not this fuel. So that's not counting the lander. So, yeah, Lathe is not going to be a safe landing. Well, I'll tell you that. But let's focus on our ship. Let's kill this. We know what our maneuver is going to be. Let's get to our apoapsis. Or we could do this actually just right now. Let's burn anti-normal, which is this way. Soup. You know, there are possibilities for a command for soup, spelled like that. Okay, yep, I'm getting some ideas. Silvery Sky, welcome. How are you doing today? Good to see you here. All right, let's just do this. Let's see what we can do. We get into the orbital plane, or at least closer to it, of all of these moons. Very carefully here. Oh, we have a stretch redeem from Riven. All right, I'm gonna cut the engines, and I'm standing up. So I haven't gotten around to setting up my camera's face cam, so it's still a boost cam. But hands are on the ceiling and feet are on the floor, and we're resetting my posture and stretching out my spine. Very much appreciated. My back's been doing quite well lately, but still, good to take care of it. Okay. If we can even just get a flyby of one of Jool's moons, it'll be worth it. I doubt we're going to be able to successfully land anywhere, but we're going to try. We're burning very slowly here. Oh, there's the Arya emote wearing the sunglasses on the side of her head. The cool cat. Arya is smirked. Well, I mean, she's clever. She's intelligent. Smart implies at least a little bit of wisdom, though, and I don't know about that. Okay. Just very carefully adjusting this inclination here. Okay, all right, we've got something here. Is that... It's a Tylo encounter. All right, let's... That raises our orbit, though. So I don't think I want that. We want to lower it. And we had that before we got the lathe one. So we're going to burn past this. We're going to burn past it and not have a Tylo encounter. Riveting, I know. This is very, very careful burn. So yeah, this particular encounter is just going to fling us into a higher orbit, and that is not exactly helpful. It's also not going to help our inclination. It's going to make that worse. So it would be worth some science, but it would be the only science we could possibly get. Yeah, that would, if we continue on this course, that would fling us out of Jool's sphere of influence entirely. And I was concentrating so hard that even though I'm not playing Minecraft, that startled me, Shipwreck. You got me. Yep, it'll just sling me interstellar. Interplanetary at least. Do 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 do. Okay. That's still a Tylo approach, but it's on the other side of Tylo now. Depending on how that works out, we might keep it, but probably not. There's a lot of data on the screen here. Too much data. Okay. Just watching the lines warp and bend. Okay, and now since we would be approaching Tylo from the other side, instead of accelerating us soon it would be decelerating us, but also look at that awful inclination it would be giving us. Terrible. Terrible. Yeah, I needed a... You're exactly right, Riven. I need a decent inclination that will give me a good braking effect. That's why we're trying to change our inclination to be more in line with the orbital plane. Our where we're coming in from is not good for that at all. So I'm hoping that we get our lathe encounter that it was promising us. This keeps iterating on our orbit and getting us different close approaches to pull. I mean, I could bust out a slide rule and see if I can figure this out, but oh, and now it's, there we go. We've lost our approach to Tylo, which is okay. Intentional. We've got a little bit more to burn and then see if we can get our lathe encounter back. See, we're too far out for it to render Lathe's orbit at the moment. There it is. Okay, now we're increasing our relative inclination. Ugh, not good. Wonder if we can land this thing on lathe. I doubt it. The thrust is not a lot. 6 kilonewtons. Yeah, we can't land this thing on lathe, not safely. So I wonder if we keep doing this. What if we come around to here? Yeah, that is expensive. Okay, I want to fly by something, though. I really want to. That gives a flyby of lathe. Okay. Ooh, I don't think I like it, but I think it's something. All right, so let's point. Let's point that way. I think all we're going to accomplish with this mission is a flyby of lathe, but that is all right. Well, I killed it. So, app maneuver. Okay, what does that give us? Holy cow. Another Tylo. Another Tylo encounter. Okay. No, don't like. So zero that out. Zero that out. And let's see. If we widen our orbit, that gives us something. Yeah, lathe and a slingshot. A slingshot right out. So we want it to do something different than that. Okay, there we go. That's what we want. And that's just prograde. We can do that. Prograde by about 100 meters per second. Let's do it. Let's do it exactly as this maneuver says. No guesswork here. All right. From right here, exactly prograde. Half of our remaining delta V in this stage. I don't think this thing would stand up to aerobraking around lathe either. It definitely would not stand up to aerobraking around Jool because basically nothing does. All right, very carefully for this last little bit here. Oof. Very low thrust. Here we go. There it is. All right. And yeah, it's flickering a lot. Let's see, what is our... Oh, there's the sun. Blind everyone watching. Okay. Periapsis. Pretty high periapsis. And we will encounter lathe in 30 days. Now, I do not trust that if I'm in time warp, it will keep this. So let's make a manual alarm for 30 days from now, because that's 30 days, 5 hours, and 59 minutes. So here we go. We want a manual alarm. Let's see. Link to vessel, yes. Jool, probe, lathe, encounter. And we want this 30 days from right now. Add the alarm. Ooh, there we go. All right. We're coming up on an Eve launch window too. Of course we are. Let's see. What do we have around Eve? Let's go to the tracking station. And let's take a look at Eve. I think we have something in orbit around Eve now, but I don't recall exactly because I have such am so on top of things at my space agency, you know? Let's see. Focus on Eve. There we go. And zoom in. Whoa. Okay, probes. We have the Eve Exploration Probe 2, which is very similar to the one we were just looking at, except that it had a lander that had some intense parachutes on it, but it very much did not survive reentry. Nope, no it did not. So let's launch something else towards Eve. Let's launch something towards Eve's moon, Gilly. In fact, let's launch this very same thing to Gilly. Let's launch a ScanSat to Gilly, because Gilly is a fantastic place for a refueling station. So let's launch a ScanSat Supreme, named for Supreme Doom, and send it to Gilly. Which means we still are not refueling our station. Oh boy. All right, so let's first warp to that launch window, epilepsy warning, blah, 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 blah. And once again, we're going to want to launch at about noon. Delete and close. So let's time warp the sun a little bit higher in the sky. Let's look at the shadows. Right about there. That's pretty good. All right, close the alarms and let's go in here into the VAB, the Vehicle Assembly Building. And let's review our ScanSat Supreme vehicle, which is the one with all the fancy scanning cameras on it. Let's see. Open. ScanSat Supreme 7, which we sent to Moho, so we're going to make this the ScanSat Supreme 8, headed for Gilly. All right, save, and then delete the previous one. There we go. Yeah, delete. Okay, yep, it's got all the relays and everything, so this will be great for our comms as well. Lots of Delta V. We should be great. And let's take it out to the launch pad and let's launch. Loading up while I yawn. Because I'm tired, not because I'm bored, because I'm having a great time. All right. And there's the UI coming in. We can close that. And this time, let's just watch the whole thing from our onboard camera. Throttle up, stability assist on. Let's pull up the flight recorder from MechJeb. Altitude, acceleration, dynamic pressure. All right, and we are go for launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of another Arcus 2 medium launch vehicle carrying ScanSat Supreme 8 to Gilly. Vehicle is pitching downrange. Vehicle is supersonic. We've now reached maximum aerodynamic pressure. Next, we're coming up on solid motor burnout and separation. We have SRB burnout and separation. We are in space. We're coming up on main engine cutoff, MECO, stage separation, and second engine start. And we're gonna pitch down to 0 degrees. There's Jool right back there. And fairing separation is confirmed. There goes the fairing. All right. Let's take a look. Let's toggle off the probes, clean up our our view here by a little bit. Let's warp to about here. We can close this now. And we have a second engine start number 2. We're going to speed up the game as well. Once again, we are speeding up our velocity relative to Kerbin, to escape Kerbin, while simultaneously slowing down relative to the sun to drop in closer to Eve, set as target. There we go, we have our escape. Now let's just make sure this is working properly. It is. Let's slow down to real time now. Okay. And we're actually very close to the ascending node as well. Let's see, if I if I do our correction burn here, it's not warped to there. That would take us right to our next alarm. At least the next alarm would stop us. What would this do for us? Okay, let's take a look at the maneuver planning tool that we use and see what this is recommending for us. So let's turn that on. Let's see, we want universal time. Okay, we're on year 7, day 48. So let's change that. 7, day 48 on this website. Okay, and we want to go to Eve. Let's generate our sequences directly from Kerbin to Eve. We're leaving on day 7, or year 7, day 48. So that is both our earliest and latest departure. And let's search for the optimum trajectory here. This is how I found the launch window in the first place. We've used this before for that. All right, Kerbin escape. We want to look at the deep space maneuver. First, let's, if I turn this off, let's arrange these things so that they match. Like so. There we go. Okay, so yeah, it wants the deep space maneuver to be, it's recommending one anyway, right about here. Let's zoom in. Okay, we are, yeah, we're here. Right about here. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's at least get our escape. That's in 3 days. Our next alarm is in 5 days, so we're fine. Let's do that, and let's see what this is looking like at that point. Oh, let's, before we forget anything else, we're fine because we have plenty of batteries, but we want to deploy our solar panels before I forget the thing I'm most likely to forget. There we go. Now we will retain control of this vessel. Always embarrassing to forget the solar panels. This thing has some... Oh, Let's turn that off. There we go. This thing has some very hefty comms on it, so this will only help our communications going forward. And let's see. This is saying that it is going to be a very small maneuver. Just a little bit prograde, normal, and radial. Huh. Not sure it's quite right about that, but let's see. Let's do it right here. Yeah, and this is not the same as what it is telling me. So let's try a maneuver very soon. Let's try one pretty much right now, because we're very close to the ascending node, actually. Yeah, this is going to work much better. As long as those numbers are going down, we're doing it right. Okay, and that gets us an Eve encounter. Okay, so, and that node is coming up in 24 minutes. So let's time warp there. And it's just a very small burn. Okay, let's point towards the maneuver marker on our nav ball. And we have a Boozinate from Riven. I'm glad those are showing up in the chat again. I think that was something, that was an issue at Twitch. They were having all sorts of issues that day. And you guys were trying to derp me for missing the Boozinates, but they weren't showing up in chat. They started and then they stopped, but let's do it. Thank you, Riven. Delicious. All right, and I've sped this up. And yeah, I know we're past the node a little bit, but it's okay. Precision is not particularly important for when we do this. All right, here we go. Burning at low thrust. All right, everything is looking good. We're halfway through the burn. Just gentle push for the end here. There we go. And we have, I think, let's tab over to Eve. Yes, we have an encounter with Eve in about 216 days. It's a very brief one. Let's see. Will this lower? Okay, good. Yeah, let's bring that in. Make sure we don't miss it. There we go. Okay, so this one is good enough that I feel good about putting an alarm for our SOI change. And Kaylee says, I always get your tweets several hours late. Well, That's because you're not constantly on Twitter, Kaylee. Why not? And Kaylee with the first but not really. Welcome, Kaylee. Good to see you here. And Silvery Sky with the hydrate. Let's hydrate. There we go. Thank you, Silvery Sky. All right, create alarm. SOI change. Let's see, this is ScanSat Supreme 8 Eve arrival. And let's do that with 1 day advance notice. Add the alarm. And that is in 212 days. So yeah. You were napping. I was here 3 hours ago for sure. I believe you. So was Shipwreck. My moderators all napping except Supreme Doom. Jeez. All right, let's go to ScanSat 3 for its Dres correction burn. We are balancing and juggling a whole lot of missions today. Okay, do we have a connection? Barely. We have a 1% strength direct connection to the Kerbal Space Center. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, we are out there. Okay, but we need to plan our correction burn. We don't have one set yet. The descending node is coming up in 119 days. Interesting. But this thing, there's Dres. Huh, okay. Let's break that. Okay, so yeah, we're very close to getting an encounter. Okay, that's why we're doing this. Okay, let's zoom in closer. All right, where is it rendering this? There we go. Add a maneuver. Pull it in close. 20 minutes away. Kid says, bro. That's how I choose to read that. Okay. All right. And sorry. Not really. All right. So we are going to come within 180 megameters. So let's see what we can do about that. Burning normal will help. Quite a bit, actually. That changes our inclination. Okay, that's as much as that will help from there. And retrograde helped a little bit. Okay, and radial out also. And yes, it's flickering like mad. Okay, there we have an encounter with Dres coming up in 11 years. No, that's not accurate. That's not accurate at all. Let's see. That's from the Avatar pitch meeting. I haven't watched that one yet. Let's see. Let's focus our view on Dres. I don't buy it. I don't buy that it's going to take us 11 years to go this last little bit. That is not accurate. Not in the slightest. What the heck are you doing to me, KSP? What is this? All right, let's break that. Let's add one at apoapsis maybe. Yeah, it's just flickering like mad. It does not like this calculation. You are the disappoint. Wow, rude. So rude. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, it looks like what I really need to do is burn radial out. At least to a certain extent. radial out and retrograde are what I'm doing right here. I'm trying to get Kerbal Space Program to properly calculate this for me. And not say that this is going to take 11 years, because I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. Oh, geez. Okay. You have another painting. Oh, I think I saw that on Twitter when I was going on to do my my go live. I need to look at it again. It was some white flowers, right? I am so dubious of this. I think we're running into some calculation errors from Kerbal Space Program, because I think that this is accurate what it's telling me for what to burn, but what it's telling me for when I'm gonna get there, no, not at all. I don't believe that for a second. So let's pull this node close. Right there. And let's do this burn. Let's do it right now. Yes, white crocus. Yeah, that's what it was. Very nice. And that's a physical painting, right? Not a digital one. I almost said real painting. Digital paintings are real paintings. Different tools. Still, it's real art. All right. Full throttle for shipwreck. Oh man, the trajectory math in this game can be frustrated sometimes. Not, you know, the understanding of it, but the game not consistently calculating it. Wow. Kaylee says, hold me closer, tiny node. It's digital. Oh, okay. Very cool. I like the digital art style though, so I like them both. All right. Yeah, because this is saying the time to relative descending node, which is right there, is 116 days. So yeah, I do not buy that it's going to be 11 years to get to that. 11 years is what it would take for the next orbit to come around. That's what that would be. So no way. Okay. I hate this. I hate this so much. All right, so, but yeah, because here, 103 days. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so what we're going to do is put a manual time alarm in. And you see all this flickering? That's because from game tick to game tick, it is adjusting this calculation and coming up with a different answer. So that's definitely a game issue. So let's do a manual time alarm, tie it to this vessel, and which is ScanSat Supreme 3. Check in. And we're going to put that 100 days from now. Add the alarm. There we go. And Riven says, nighttime right time for me to head to bed, mate. Gotta work in the morning, and it's almost midnight. Oh, you got lots of time before work. Good night, Riven. Good to see you here. Thanks for stopping by and saying hello. Hopefully some of this was illuminating and not just derpy. I mean, I never derp, but no worries, and you have a good night. Okay, so, oh, that is so annoying. That flickering is just painful to look at, so I'm going to make you guys look at it just a little bit longer. All right, yeah, that's this. Let's close that, and our next launch window is to Elu, but we can also launch our refueling mission now. So let's do the Elu mission next time. Let's go to the Space Center and let's launch a refuel mission to the station. See if we can manage to dock it in the next 10 minutes here. Maybe. We'll see. But we need to remember to send some traditional fuel with this too. Kaylee, you missed a perfect landing of our reusable booster earlier. It was actually pretty epic. All right. into the VAB. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know what that was. So what we're going to do is open up our refueler. The big fuel tank is what it's called. That's right. The 4.0L, that's the liquid version. We do need some oxidizer on this thing though, too. So what we're going to do is add just a little bit. Actually, this is how I want to do it. Like so. Let's move that back up where it was. There. Like that. And we're not going to save that. We're going to, this is hopefully just a one-off. Seems unlikely knowing you, says Kaylee. Oh, wow. Excuse me, but it was perfect, and I'll show you screenshots. I'm going to tweet them out after the, that's how people say it, tweet it out instead of just tweet it. All you need to say is I'm going to tweet them. But if you're one of the real successfully people, they all say, I'm going to tweet it out. And let's see. Okay, this is not a recoverable launcher. That's all right. We are, I think, good. Those are the separation motors. Yep, we're good on the staging. All right, here we go. Let's roll this out to the pad and launch to the station. Because we need more liquid fuel and oxidizer for our sky crane for landing the refinery. Katie says, I'm not up with the kids speak. Well, I'm pretty cool. So, bro. All right, night launch. That's cool. Let's see. What have we got? We've got an onboard camera. Let's use it. All right, here we go. Let's not worry about the graphs this time. We're just gonna launch this thing. Throttle up. Stability assist is on. Spring Doom says, my life is ruined. And Copernicus Cat, welcome. Dan Bear Pig is a hep cat. I don't know what that means. I'm too cool to know what that means. And yes, that is it, Kaylee. All right, here we go. We're going to go for launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Vehicle is pitching downrange. Everything is looking normal. And we are supersonic. Let's see. Springdom says, kids open the crunchy peanut butter. Disappointment. What? Are you a creamy peanut butter person, Supreme Doom? Because if you are, I might have to fire you. Isn't that what the kids are saying today? I don't know. I'm way cooler than those kids. Probably, though. I don't know. All right, we're coming up on solid motor burnout. We have SRB burnout and separation. All right, we need to pitch way down. We're headed to low orbit after all. Premium says I'm creamy, but I will say crunchy tastes more like peanuts. I'm torn, actually. Well, here's the thing, Supreme Doom. I'm gonna help you out. There's no need to be torn. You need to simply be right and like crunchy peanut butter. The only reason I feed the twins creamy is because they're so young. But they're gonna be crunchy lovers for sure. All right, main engine cutoff, stage separation, and second engine start. All right, and we have our apoapsis of 150 kilometers, so we're gonna cut the engine. And look at that sunrise. Spring Dream says, I blame my mom. She brainwashed me. She told me we don't like crunchy peanut butter. Well, here's the thing. People can change, often for the better. All right, where are we relative to the station? Actually, it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience. No, probably it's going to be kind of rough. Parents do that. Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's gonna pass ahead of us. Dang it. That's okay. Catch it on the next time around. So we need to do a time warp to apoapsis. All right, here we go. And second engine start, number 2. We're going to hold our 0 degree pitch. Spring Doom says, oh, this is terrible. We don't like raspberry jam either, apparently, but that was a total lie. Well, there are a few things better than raspberry jam, and one of them is blackberry jam, so, you know, let's do the time warp weekends as Copernicus cat. Yep. I actually have not seen that movie. I'm not sure if I will or not. I'm not sure if it's my thing or not, but I at least know what that's from. Because I'm a cool kid. All right. We're just getting our orbit here. Let's speed the game up. And slow it back down. Real time. And we're going to get a nice intersect over here, actually. Okay, this is actually working out way better than I was expecting. There we go. Premium says, I've never seen it either, but I feel shame about that. You should also feel more shame about being a creamy peanut butter person. I'm just putting that out there. Kaylee says, I am confident it is not a my thing. It's totally my thing, says Premium. All right, we're going to catch up with the station in 23.5 minutes. So let's time warp around to here. Lots of Delta V left. So we're not going to be landing and trying out our fuel station yet, unfortunately, but we can at least refuel it, and then next week we can see about landing it on Minmus and refining some fuel. Okay, we're coming up to the station in 6 minutes. Pretty low relative velocity too. We're already very close to the same orbit. This is all very good news. All right, let's get out of this view. Point retrograde to the target. Turn around a bit. Okay. Supreme Doom says, I even watched Bye Bye Birdie and Beach Blanket Bingo. I think that's what it's called. Plus, I know all the words to Grease, and I don't mean the song. Grease is definitely not my thing, I have to say. All right, let's slow down and also tighten up the approach. All right, now we're approaching at just over 2 kilometers, which is very good. That's coming up in 6 more minutes. All right, we need to correct our inclination again, or our attitude. Okay, actually, it's taken away our markers here, so let's go back here, reset the target. There we go. There we go. Then I'm going to catch up with the chat in just a moment here. We do our course correction. Okay. Whoa, this thing is hard to control. We've already burned through half of our maneuvering thruster fuel, our monopropellant. We've got some holy cow, this thing is just moving on me. All right, let's do this. We're going slow enough. All right. Cat says, Delta V, that's that power you have on. Is it the remnants of some solid fuel from days gone by? Nice. Supreme says, I think I also watched all the Elvis movies. Definitely not my thing. My mom wanted me to be well cultured. Someone will get that. I didn't get it. Copernicus Cat, I had to say it, but I didn't get it. Okay, this thing is not slowing itself down in this rotation department here. Brutal. I mean, it is, but here we go. If I gently burn the engines, the gimbaling will help immensely. There we go. Oh man, a big heavy fuel tank in space. Very difficult. My jokes are special, says Copernicus Cat. Special jokes are great though. Okay, let's see. Need to point at the station. And not waste all of the monopropellant. Am I space littering? Asked Kaylee. I sure am. Don't worry, Jeffrey Bezos will clean it up. That's his fate for probably forever. I space litter, and Jeffrey Bezos, for his community service, goes and cleans it up. Okay, but our trajectory is... It's not that it's bad, it's that fixing it is really a struggle here. Put the joke to the tune of Delta Dawn, which I also don't know. I'm too cool, sorry. He deserves it. He killed me, says Kaylee. Yeah, I mean, maybe he'll earn forgiveness at some day. Time to look at the YouTubes, I guess so. All right. Let's come around this way. And tighten up our approach. That's looking good. .2 kilometers, 1 kilometer. All right, 100 meters. That's real good. All right, and now what we need to do is turn around and be ready to slow down when we get there. So we do not want to be going 9.2 meters per second when we get there. Okay, that's the little lag spike as it loads the station into the physics engine because we're within 2.25 kilometers of it. Oh my gosh, we're just burning through this fuel so fast. Okay. All right. Oh, brutal, brutal, brutal. All right, let's come out of time warp. And just gently light the engines. Just a nudge. And come to a stop. Sally Salt, welcome, redeeming the Boozinate. And also thank you for figuring out or helping us figure out why the official Twitch shoutout wasn't working on mobile devices. Okay. There we go. Let's Boozinate. Copernicus Cat definitely referencing things that are well outside my musical tastes, saying my rocket is giving them a featuring Snoop Dogg vibe. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. That one is for you, Jason Drew. Wait, and why wasn't... What is that in reference to, Kaylee? What are you... All right. Let's see. How much can I move this with just the tiny reaction wheels that we've got here? Probably not a lot. So let's see. Let's turn on fine control. I don't like. Control from here. Activate the camera. Let's see. Okay, yeah, you don't put the @ when you do the / command, which is interesting because that works on regular Twitch. But yeah, and they're not very clear about that, are they? Are they? Either are they? Geez, I tried to say either and are they at the same time, and that did not work. Let's do the locked camera so I can see where the controls are gonna put me. Like this. Okay, so we need to rotate downwards relative to how this is oriented. Okay. Auto camera again. Because yeah, we're watching our monopropellant drop precipitously. There we go. I totally believe you, Copernicus Cat, that I would get the reference if I heard the song. That makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Okay, good. We're gonna see the station here. Spring says, "I'm not even going to tell you what I spent the last few minutes doing. I'm such a dolphin." And there's Kaylee with a shout out for Supreme Doom. Thank you, Kaylee. All right, let's do the same trick we did before, and then point this at the station, and then dock. And I'm gonna just make sure that I'm good to be going a little bit over time. Okay, I think we're fine. I definitely owe my wife. I have to practice the scaling. That's a good excuse as any to shout out Supreme Doom. And anyone not following Supreme Doom should practice following by following Supreme Doom. Okay. All right. Oh boy. This is rough. Okay, we're going to run out of monopropellant correcting this course here. That's just how it is. And yep, we are out of monopropellant. Okay, so we need to do... We are now controlling the station, though we are... Let's see, hold on. Yeah, let's do it this way. Switch to target. There we go. Now we have the target set. So what we need to do is point towards this target using the station. Speedrun says, I was listening to Delta Dawn and I was like, I know that song, but I didn't realize they talk about fuel. Then I realized, oh, some words were swapped. I'm a dolphin. Yes, you should follow me, says Speedrun, because that situation with Delta Dawn, frequent flyer club president right there. Even spelt president all Canadian-y. And actually, we need to be controlling from here. There we go. Yeah, because that is actually not... Alright, we see this thing maneuvering because we're controlling this craft even though we're looking at it through the camera from the other craft. A little bit trippy, I know, but this is a feature that I should be using more often because it's just so great. All right. Indians don't president. Yeah, they prime minister, right? I think so. All right, let's do that. Speed it up. Bring it in. All right, here it comes. We're flying the space station like it's a spaceship because it is a spaceship. All right, let's slow down and come in for our final approach. It's kind of a cool view, and you can see the awesome looking driller and refinery that we built, but we're not going to be landing until next stream, next week. Let's see. Copernicus Cat says, Snowball Earth? What's Earth? That's Kerbal. And we're looking at it with our black and white camera here. It's 2035, so sell your salt. Maybe. You don't know. This is burning through the monopropellant even faster, but we have lots of it on board, and we can launch more later, I'm sure. We're going to be doing that. Okay, slow down. Slow down. There we go. Slow down. There we go. This is rough. Yeah, we are not quite aligned angularly. I'm trusting in some magnets to do magnet magic. Come on. Oh my gosh, this is really tough. Really tough here. Oh boy. We got a point. We got a point. I cannot rotate this other craft. That's the problem. Let's see. Oh my gosh, look at that. Okay, so yeah, we have the target right. Just double check that. And let's back off. Just like this. Yeah, because this is problematical. We nudged it. Okay, slow down the rotation. Back off. Lock the camera. And translate over there. All right, and chat's going crazy here. Let's see, what do we got? Oh, jeez. Okay. Smeenan says, yes, we're Prime Minister and Premiere instead of President and Senator. I'm not sure how those equate, Supreme Doom, honestly. We have a hockey team named the Senators, and Copernicus Cut saying Danbury Pig is very approachable. It's because he wants to sound professional, Scaly. It's all part of the show. No, the derps are part of the show. If he's just professional, he'd be doing better with his docking procedure. I know, right? Well, we're docking with one ship basically crippled. One of your special dimensions might be off a little. I know, right? My spatial dimensions. Oh, Sally Salt says, well, let's not get personal. The beer gives an angle. The angle of the dangle of the spaceship, yes. Must be pierogi disease. Is dumpling. Wow, you guys. Wow, 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 wow. 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 All right, let's get this docking done because we're already 20 minutes overtime. Not that I mind being 20 minutes overtime. I could go for hours yet. But you know, I got family responsibilities and stuff. Okay. Now we're going to use this camera. Yeah, because we're flying past it. Come on. Oh, the flashing from the different engines firing is going to give everybody epilepsy. Okay, let's move this thing. This is insane. Why are we doing this? I should just, you know, make a better ship. All right, that's my task. That's my task between now and next stream is to improve this ship right here so that we can actually control it better once we get near the station, because we totally ran out of monopropellant. We need some reaction wheels and stuff on it. Ban everyone, says Supreme Doom. I agree with Copernicus Cat. Seems the best option. That's right. Ban everybody. You're all fired. Especially Kaylee. For some reason. Because of saying Appleplexy. Not a real word. Alright. This is better. This is way better. Using so much monopropellant to do this, but it's worth it. And this means that next week we will get to do our attempted landing of our ore drilling refinery setup. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Boom. Slowing down. Final approach. I'm not sweating bullets, you're sweating bullets. Actual literal bullets. Armor-piercing rounds. That's what I'm sweating. All right. Come on, magnets. Do magnet magic. Magnet magic. Come on, you can do it. Magnet. Just stick it in the whole. I know, right? It's all we need is to just, you know, gently dock. Come on. You are compatible docking ports. Dock. Dock, dang you. Dock. There we go, we did it. Oh my gosh. All right, so between streams, I'm going to dispose of the empty fuel tank, refuel this thing, and design an improvement on this so we don't have to sit through that again, because wow, that was awful. But then coming up, we have our ELU launch window and our encounter with Lathe. So we'll be doing that and seeing if we can drill for any ores on Minmus and refine it into fuel next week. Your magnets, lol, you suck at this game, says Kaylee, or your magnets are not good. Wow, that is a really long pull. You guys and your innuendo, I'm on to you. All right, but let's get a close-up screenshot of this thing because it's at least ready to be refueled. There we go, and it looks great. It looks really cool. All right, and with that, I will see you guys next time. We'll be doing let's see, today's Sunday, so tomorrow's Minecraft Monday. I'll be back on the first SMP, and on Wednesday, we'll be doing Vault Hunters of Wednesday. And next week, all that stuff I just said. Okay, let's see. Who is online that we can raid? Channel my inner Jeremy Clarkson and say, and on that terrible disappointment, for you, we have to end. Oh, boy. Let's see, we could raid Raiseworks. Raiseworks is on, and I haven't been there in forever. So unless someone has a, you're online, what are you streaming? I don't see you online, Kaylee. I mean, I could raid your offline channel. Let's see, let's see. Clarkson's Farm. I haven't watched Clarkson's Farm yet, Copernicus Cat. I'm still watching Grand Tour. But yeah, Jeremy Clarkson is one of my heroes. Let's see. Kaylee Obsidia. Oh, no results found. Huh. Weird. Not sure where you are online. Okay. Let's do Raiseworks. They're playing Minecraft, doing their Raise Grid challenge, which I haven't seen yet, and I really want to. So let's do that. All right, guys, we're going to start the raid, and here is the raid message right here. If you're subscribed, copy the whole thing. Otherwise, just the part in between where it says Dan Bear 4 Totem. And I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Thank you, Supreme Doom. All right, goodbye!